Anti-racism
now I'm going to shred it and dehydrate it. That's ginger.
So now,
okay, so it is now December 19th, 2021. This is my little introduction to this video here so that you understand what you're going to be watching. Okay. I'm going to call it, I'm getting a headache, people. Serious. Now this is important. Okay, this is important, so it's going up on YouTube. But we still have our BitChute exclusives that are not being posted on YouTube. You know, your standard cooking videos and just other things that I used to do on YouTube that I don't necessarily do anymore, people, because of YouTube's antics, okay? All right? So, you know, but this is important, right? This is ShaMay's story, okay? We're going to talk about ShaMay a little bit here. All right? And we'll put this up on YouTube and then follow up on BitChute with it. Okay? And the title of this video is, because I got to wrap my head around this so that I say it once and people understand what I said. Okay? Let's talk about ShaMay. That's what we're going to do here. We're going to talk about ShaMay. That's the title of this video. / YouTube shenanigans. Now, I could be wrong, people. I could be wrong with what I'm faced with in terms of comments being either shadow banned or they're being removed or they're being broken up from, because I'm having this quote unquote conversation with an individual that's on Truth for Reality's video, the last one that he did for ShaMay, because he posted another video of a young woman that was basically taunted to commit suicide online, to which she did. And with his other videos, with just so many young people, with many of them women, young girls, right? Women or girls, right? You know, not all of them, but it's just, it's so heart-wrenching, people, because I know what those parents are going through in terms of the loss of their child. Okay, and it just rips my heart out. And I know if I leave a comment saying, oh, you know, whatever it is that I say on those videos, you know, it just doesn't remove the sadness around them all. So, of course, that brought me to the video of ShaMay. And periodically, every now and then, you know, I what do you call it? I read the comments, right? For a while there, my whole channel was deleted, so, you know, all my comments disappeared, and I couldn't comment, and, you know, and then magically my channel reappeared, and my comments appeared, and, you know, so anyway, periodically I go in and I read the comments, right? You know, and I check the petition, which we're at 2,003 signatures now, people. So I'm extremely happy with that. I have been thinking about doing an update for that particular petition, but, you know, as usual, I'm busy. I broke down yesterday and I bought another, oh my God, I bought another 100 pounds worth of wheat. I bought 44 pounds of a hard white wheat, which is your basic white flour, which you can use for cakes and muffins and, you know, that kind of stuff, pastries and whatever, right, and bread, okay? And then I bought another 44 pounds of the spelt kernels, which is a wheat berry that's the most easiest to digest because of the way its, you know, its properties are compared to other wheat products, and I bought that specifically in mine for Amari because it's easier to digest, right? And then I bought another 22 pounds of some other kind of wheat that's ancient from Egypt times. Right? So, and I'm like, oh my God, this is why I got a headache, because like I'm almost done putting this stuff away and I'm still bringing in another 100 pounds of wheat, people. But you know what? Right now, this is the state of my province, okay? We've got the agricultural minister, right, up on the podium after she takes off her mask, talking on about how they gathered up $1 million through wherever, right, to have a an emergency supply. It's not a full supply. It's just an emergency supply for the farm animals in British Columbia, Canada, that got displaced from those rainstorms. And all the granaries that were holding their feed basically got washed out in various parts throughout the province, with the bulk of that in the food hub of the Abbotsford area. We're talking hundreds and hundreds of farms wiped out. So now I've been buying wheat for a couple of years now, and the first time I did it around, which was 2 years ago, right? Because there's this year I did, and then last year, right? So the bounty was good, right? In terms of the pickings were good in terms of the diversity of the types of wheats that we're selling, the diversity of the types of beans and that kind of stuff that they were selling, where now, a year and a half later, or a year later, it's down to, oh my God, almost 1/4 of available product, people. I wouldn't put it past 1/3. I wouldn't, because I know I've been shopping for a while now, right? And I got to make myself a coffee for this and I'm not rushing with it, because this is important, okay? But the wheat is important too, and that's because we have solar flares. Something's changing in our atmosphere up in the universe, right? Through the moon cycles, right? And how our planets intercept each other as they go through the calendar. Okay. And because of that, there's tends to be more weather disruption, and we're supposed to be having, I don't know, something to do with the sun, where it's going to make things colder for some, in terms of they're not going to be able to grow their crops as effectively as if everything was normal within our, what is that called? It's not atmosphere, but it's higher up, the autosphere or something like that. So anyway, because of that, and then of course there's what is that? Heat waves, and our farmers this year, they suffered a heat wave of a week where literally fried plants turned them parched, right? Killed off a lot of wheat and other crops. And then now we had the rain that washed out and contaminated large swaths of land where they may not be able to reuse it for a while until the contaminants within the soil are leached out, right? However that's done, whether through nature or whether by man. If you plant plants into contaminated ground, those plants are going to draw up on those nutrients and they're going to be contaminated, right? Whereas if you just maybe leave the ground and let the ground filter itself, right? Any contaminants eventually will just pool at the bottom of where the runoff is. But we don't have a natural runoff here, because they diked off the area. It used to be a lake bed. It used to be a lake bed. So by nature, everything that was contaminant would follow the water through the mountains and wherever it comes from, and then it would, heavy metals and those kind of things, they tend to go to the bottom. So it would be sitting at the very bottom of the lake bed, and then go deep down into the ground, and then disperse that way. Whereas if there's nowhere for those contaminants to go, and the only way to get them out is to plant something and let it suck it out, well, anyway, you get my point, right? We're having a wheat supply shortage out here. And it's not predicted to get any better in terms of general food supply, because of lots of variables, with the, economy shutting down in some areas, and with, blockage of this and blockage of that, and, transportation is becoming an issue, and gas is an issue, and, so I just said to heck with it, because even if I don't use it in the manner that I think I can use it, because I won't use it all in a year, that's for sure. And that's the point, though. You want to make sure you have it for a little longer than a year, right? You know, I can always get chickens, so. But I plan on using it, right? I'm like looking forward to grinding the wheat, whatever kernel it is that I want to grind, or I can combine wheats as I'm grinding, and I could make really nice fluffy pancakes, or what are those things called? Waffles. I'm going to show you these waffle irons I have. Hold on a minute. Okay. I so hate getting headaches, man. I don't get them very often, but anyway, I wonder if YouTube's going to put an advertisement on this video. It's not like they're doing it for justice, people, okay? You know, they're not helping in any capacity in terms of justice for these young women and young men that are losing their lives in a very, very untimely manner. Because YouTube tries to bring it to a state where it's clearly just entertainment for them, so they can slap on their advertisements, even though the people telling the stories are the poorest of the poor. Okay, that's the first thing. But, you know, it's another thing being in like my position where I actually talk about it and then have my comments removed or whatever to hide what it is that I'm saying, so that what I'm talking about always remains nothing more than entertainment, thus, therefore, no justice. Hold on a minute. Anyway, let's not try and keep this video too long. Keep it short, right? Never short, though. Look at this. Aren't these nice? Look at that. I have 2 of them, people. This is cast iron. I had to boil these things for like 8 pots of water just to get the, what is that called? The wax off it. I guess the bottom new, right? I can either use these on my stove, or if for some reason the hydro goes out, you can cook with them on a fire, or on a, you know, gas something. I would use it in the fire pit or in the fireplace if I had to, and I had no other choice. That's kind of one reason why I bought them. I'm going to try them outside with our rocket stove. So that wheat has a home in that waffle iron pan. Okay. So, okay, let's get on with this video. It's hard to think when I have a headache and it's brewing. And I'm running out of Tylenol. Oh, I have 2. That's enough. So what's happening here, people, is I seen Truth Reality's video, right? It made me think of ShaMay. Not that I don't think about her every day, because I do, right? And so I went on to her video. I played catch up with the comments. I checked up on the petition. I do plan on doing an update to put up on the petition, but, you know, I'll have to put the food first, people, in light of what's going on in my province, period, right? And through the comments, there was one person who asked a question or said something, and somebody else came in and put in their own 2 cents and, you know, tried to say that ShaMay died from underlying causes that were related to some sort of medical issue that nobody knew about, right? And therefore she wasn't murdered. Although she does think that ShaMay's body was illegally harvested of its organs. Okay. Fair enough. People are entitled to their opinions. So I considered that thought. Wasn't anything that had ever crossed my mind before. Honestly, you know, ShaMay was healthy, right? You know, she had no blood problems. She had no birth defects. She had, you know, nothing like that, right, people? So anyway, I came in, I said something, however I said something. Okay? She came along and she answered back. I went and answered. I'm telling you how this leads up to it, right? But for whatever reason, it wasn't, her comment wasn't inserted into the actual thread where the conversation started out as, right? So as I noticed that, I tried to go look for the original thread that I was posting in last night to see if whatever I was posting with her on a new thread somehow created itself there, right? It found it, and it wasn't there, people. So whether that individual did that and created a new thread, or answered the thread and somehow YouTube moved it out from the main thread, and right, so that if you came into that one little post, you wouldn't know what was said before it because it had been separated. Like, that's shady shit, right? If Truth for Reality had an issue with me making posts on his comment section, he'd contact me directly, people. He'd say, hey, what's up? You know, I don't like what you're saying. Or whatever, right? But he's not doing that, people, okay? So I don't think this is Truth for Reality through approved comments, removing or hiding comments, okay? This is not related to him, because if it was, he would contact me directly, okay? And tell me what's up. So it's either YouTube doing it just to fuck with everybody so that everybody stays in the dark, but they can still slap on their advertisements and make money off of fucking mayhem and misery, okay? And then classify it as entertainment, nothing more than entertainment, right? Okay? Or it's this individual who's playing mindfuckery with posts and maybe deleting her own posts, or created a new post to break it up from the main post, right? To cause confusion. As she's adamant that she knows what happened to ShaMay. Instead of thinking about what I'm saying, she's stuck on what she thinks she knows, right? Which is okay. Whatever, right? It's not going to change anything, people, okay? So, but I don't like being YouTube's bitch. We know that, people. Okay? So whoever is fucking with the comments, right, which are important comments and shouldn't be removed, and if anyone has the right to remove them before anybody else does that, I would think it would be Truth for Reality, being it's his video and his channel, and those are his threads under his comment section, right? So I'm going to document it right now so it never goes away. Even if fucking YouTube deletes this video because it's not, it doesn't follow their community guidelines, people, it will then become a BitChute exclusive. Okay? Now, we know, let's take it briefly to the beginning. Hold on a second. I'm getting kind of mad. Okay, so let's get on with this. I have a headache, people. And I'm drinking coffee, making it worse. Okay. So, all right. Oh, I don't know what I was saying. Anyway, take it to the almost from the just to recap on from the beginning, right? When, you know, being that we're talking about ShaMay. Okay, so from the time ShaMay was murdered, people, okay, I stand my ground. I'm the one holding the rope with everybody else behind me towing that line. And when I fall off, the one behind me will be the leader. Okay? That will never change. All right? There's a reason why we have the word justice in our vocabulary. All right. Remember, I have a headache, so I'm having to think past the pain. Okay? So, being that I've been stalked ever since by an individual who is very vindictive and spiteful and unpredictable, I like to keep up with what's stalking me. I can't say it any other way, people. Okay? So, I check up on what this person is posting. Right? Because I know it's just a matter of time before she's going to call out, quote unquote, NuNationsUnity for attention. Okay. And sure enough, like clockwork, right? It's like that itch that you just can't help scratching. You have to scratch it. Well, it happened. It happened a couple of days ago, people. In other words, Julian's sister took it upon herself to post a video 2 days ago that was no more than 10 seconds long. Called out Paige, ShaMay's friend, out on the YouTube, right? With a video that apparently Tamika took, Tasty Bonnie took, at the SkyTrain in the summertime. As Paige is in the background in a dress, obviously going someplace, right? With her purse, having a smoke. And then there's a fella that's in front of ShaMay that is not with Tamika because he's on the other side of the pillars, right? As this girl's walking by, going on about how, I guess, Paige was threatening her somehow, even though Paige is in a dress. Okay. And, you know, playing herself like some kind of victim here, people. Okay, this was done in the summertime, June, 6 months ago, this video, apparently, because I asked. As soon as I seen it, I said, hey, guess what? When was this video taken? When was this? This was done in the summertime. Why is Julian's sister putting up a video on YouTube that's no more than 10 seconds long, trying to play herself off as if she's being attacked by Paige? When this video was taken in 6 months ago with Paige clearly waiting either for a bus or a SkyTrain. Okay? You know, as so-and-so is walking by. Okay. Can you see Paige running up to so-and-so in a dress with high heels on, swinging her purse? Oh, come on, people. But that's, you know, kind of what Julian's sister is trying to portray here. And then she uses that as an excuse to call out NuNationsUnity because she knows she's just going to get a whole lot of hits on it, people. Now, I mentioned this to the girls, right? I said, why after all this time? I haven't been saying, I don't even post videos that much anymore on YouTube, people, unless it's important or it's traumatizing. This is a little bit of both. This is traumatizing and it's important, right? Pastor Granny, that was traumatizing and important, right? So, you know, it justifies being on YouTube, okay? Being that YouTube is spreading around misinformation and capitalizing off of it with their fucking advertisements and keeping it no more than entertainment. Right? And that's why I'm doing this video. To clear up the entertainment part and throw in some facts. Okay? I was here, people. I'm still here. So anyway, she does this. And I asked the girls, I said, like, why do you think she's doing this? She didn't have to call out Paige, never mind put Paige's face out there. But she had to throw in NuNationsUnity in her tag because she knows that if it goes into the Google search engine, her videos are going to come up. Google NuNationsUnity. Go under videos, people, and the only videos that you're going to see under Google search engine are her videos, and that's only because she tags in the name, the federal trademarks name into her titles. So the search engine grabs the name, puts them in the video section under their Google search. So you're not coming into my videos, people. You're going into her videos. This is what YouTube props up. And she knows it. Right? Because she's the victim. She wants to get her story out there. I don't know what the fuck the story is, because she hasn't finished it yet, people. We're still waiting for part 5. Okay? I guess this is just a little prelude or something. Right? That was my head hurting. So, they said because she knows she's going to get the views, Mom. I'm like, okay. We'll see. We'll see if that happens. And sure enough, YouTube took her video, because I know how it works on YouTube, people. If they want you to be successful, they will redirect your videos right to where you're going to get a lot of hits. If they want to shadow ban you and fucking stalk you and harass you and keep you isolated and slap you around like a little bitch, they will do that too by segregating your videos and shadow banning them. Well, clearly they put this one somewhere where it just flew off the charts. And within 2 days, she got 6,200 and some odd views in 2 days under a 10-second fucking clip that is clearly misleading and exploitive and threatening. Because threatening in the way that she's trying to portray that we're the ones fucking harassing her. Okay? Like, seriously. Okay? So anyway, that's why I'm doing this video. Because it all kind of fell in together. Truth Reality uploads video of a young girl. Could have been my daughter. Dead. The last video I seen of his was another young woman. Could have been my daughter. Was dead. And so on and so on. And it breaks my heart. And I'm thinking, how can you possibly absorb, as in Truth Reality himself as an individual, as a human being, how can you possibly absorb, I don't want to say their karmas, but their auras and their suffering in order to be able to produce what he produces through his videos, right? Because you gotta have, I don't know, you gotta be able to separate yourself from the pain in order to be able, I guess you could say, do a good job, right? Without being quote unquote biased. Whereas me, I will always be biased because I was here. I went through the actual experience, so I think I have a right to talk about what I know from experience. Okay. So my experience is this girl has a history of stalking my family long before she started stalking me. And she continues to stalk me. She continues to stalk ShaMay's friends, trying to antagonize her, right? In terms of hoping that Paige will jump on the bandwagon once she finds out that she's back up on YouTube under Tasty Bonnie, a.k.a. Julian's sister's channel, right? And then, you know, she can go on and cry about how Paige is harassing her. Right? So let's just look at this and let's see if we can just end this video. First, we'll start here. Okay, this is, you can see what happened here, people. This was done 2 days ago. Right, but if you look, where are we? What did she do? I can almost guarantee you this video will come up on the search engine under NuNationsUnity just because of what she did with the title. Where if you look for my videos, it's like going into a ghost town. You won't find them. Because I don't normally put NuNationsUnity right into my title just in order to be able to keep my videos in the search engine. Okay? So, right? And look what happened within 2 days, people. Look. Look at that. But prior to that, let's go back and see what happened. This was 5 days ago. Right? She got 27 views. This was 5 days ago. Oh, she got a little more. Right? This one was done 4 weeks ago. She got 29 views. This one was done 4 weeks ago, 22 views. I got a headache. This one was done 4 weeks ago, 22 views, 27 views. You can see what's going on here, right? Okay. It goes like that for quite a while, okay? But for whatever reason, YouTube promoted this video. Because without the help of YouTube, this video would have went nowhere, people, because I've been on YouTube 11 years. I know how it works, okay? And being that YouTube is now allowed, well, not allowed, has taken it upon themselves to throw on advertisements on any video that they want, regardless of the consequences, okay, around those videos in terms of whether they're fictional or non-fictional. You can be sure that they put one on this video because they promoted the video not only to slander and continue to harass me, right? Right? And mislead the public to keep me publicly humiliated so that they can make a profit. Okay? See? I'm curious to know how long the video is. Let's see how long the video goes. We're at 7 seconds, 8 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds, a 15-second video.
So this is Paige.
A 15-second, that was a 15-second advertisement on a 10-second video. Okay? As they're trying to shadow ban, or somebody is trying to shadow ban my comments on Truth for Reality's video. As you Google NuNationsUnity into Google search engine, go under videos, and you don't see any of my videos, people. All you see are her videos trashing me. Okay? All right? And if you think I'm kidding about the trashing part, well, let's just take a boo on this one. Where is it? Right here. This is a video that she did in May 25th of 2021. Okay?
Doing number 4, story time with ShaMay. I know that you guys have been waiting for another story time, such and such. I know that you guys see that evil little fucking white old lady coming at me again. I know y'all see that. I know y'all see that little evil white lady coming for me, right? Judy Chorney, we're talking to you. All right. Boom. Number 4, story time. So the story time that I'm going to share today.
So you've seen that, right?
Me, right? Judy Chorney, we're talking to you. All right. Boom. Okay. Boom. So today what we are doing number 4, story time with ShaMay. I know that you guys have been waiting for another story time, such and such. I know that you guys see that evil little fucking white old lady coming at me again. I know y'all see that. I know y'all see that little evil white lady coming for me, right?
Okay, so this is what YouTube props up, people.
Judy Chorney, we're talking to you. All right.
Okay. Try it. Google NuNationsUnity into the search engine of Google. Go into the little video tabs and see if you can find one of my videos. And keep in mind, I have 2,270 videos up on YouTube server. Okay? With half of those videos now being monetized under duress in terms of YouTube is making money off of those videos, but I am not. And not only am I not making any money off of those videos for the foundation, Okay? They don't even promote my videos, people. They completely wiped me off the fucking search engine when it comes to Google search engine in the section called videos because of what this individual's doing. Alright. That was done in May of 2025. Now, before we go any further with that, we're going to talk about Shayna for a minute. Okay, young woman murdered in Surrey, feared she die exactly how she did, grieving family says. Okay, she was shot while being inside of her house as the person who was shooting the gun was out on the streets at 7:30 in the morning, people, shooting into the house. And she was, quote unquote, hit by a stray bullet. Her in the head, her boyfriend in the foot. He walked out with minor injuries. She was carried out in a casket. Okay? And there is no justice. All right? Because nobody eyewitnessed the shooter at 7:30 in the morning standing in the middle of the street. Okay. Cops can't necessarily cover that up because it was a bullet to the head. Okay? But interesting how nobody ever got arrested or went to jail for it. It's not uncommon for that to happen in British Columbia, Canada, because illegal organ harvesting, or even organ harvesting in itself, as the dead bodies trickle in through violence and murder, okay? You know, it all makes money in the end for the high-wheeling criminals in the community when it relates to laundering money through the black market, with organs being one of them. So, Paige is the sister to Shayna, who was shot in February, I think. It was February, right? Last year, people, in 2021. So if Shayna gets shot in February, so we'll say February, so we'll say March, 1 month, March, April, May, June. So within 4 months, Paige is now still grieving the loss of her sister, wondering who murdered her, knowing what she knows, how the cops are out here, standing at a bus in a dress, minding her own fucking business, and along comes so-and-so with her cell phone picking a fight and then trying to blame Paige for it, to only have that video that was done in June of this year, right? 6 months ago, be posted up on YouTube so that YouTube can make mad money off the advertisements and continue with the deception of just trying to keep everything on the lowdown, right? So it can always remain entertainment and nothing more, as corporations capitalize off of it, whether it's the government or whether it's Google and their search engines and YouTube and all this other crap. Whoever fucking, the shareholders of that monopoly of technology. I just wanted you to understand who Paige is, what happened to Paige, and how Julian's sister is still, after all this time, exploiting Paige to gain attention to herself, as YouTube exploits the whole situation in hand, tries to mix it all up, and then capitalizes off of it, people, through their advertisements. Okay? Let's see, before we move on. Oh my God, it's just bad. That's all it ever is. Hold on.
Investigators continue to hunt for whoever shot and killed a young woman last week. Tonight, as her grieving family plans her funeral, they're sharing more about Shayna Harris Morris and her dreams for her future. CTV's Michelle Bernoro with that story.
Okay, so I guess we're going to do this under the Fair Use Act. Okay, there is Shayna. That's Paige.
A laugh with one of her sisters, a moment that's now a memory. Her name was Shayna Harris Morris, and she was just 23 years old.
She just loved to hug. She loved...
That's Shayna's uncle, Ryan. Okay.
Loved love.
But last week, she was gunned down in this Surrey home.
Right.
Police don't know if she was the target. A man was also shot but survived. He has not been identified. Families say she lived there.
Okay, so in light of, I guess you could say, whatever YouTube likes to do, that was done under the Fair Use Act, okay, people? I will just provide the link into the description box so that you can go see it for yourself, because I showed you just so that you know that it's real, what I'm telling you here, okay? So this was, you know, in February, right? I don't have the exact date of the day. I can't remember. And the video, the 10-second video, that Julian's sister posted up just recently of Paige was actually taken in June, right? And she's now just posting it in December, trying to play herself off like we're the ones fucking stalking her. This is why I keep up with her channel, because it's enough that, like I said, under the search engine, Google NuNationsUnity, go under their video tab, and all you're going to see is her videos, people, and you won't find what I have to say unless you go looking for it. Okay? Okay. But that's not why I'm doing this video. Okay? I'm just telling you what's been happening. I'm doing this video because Truth for Reality put up a video, again, of another young person who died in an untimely manner. And, you know, for me, it's heart-wrenching. And I went to follow up on my own sorrow, I guess you could say. And through that, I made a few posts, right? And then I got a response back. And then I discovered that the posts were mixed up. And then they got deleted. And now that I know that somebody's in there deleting posts, I've decided to do the video to document the posts so I can just get on with it, people, and get back to working with my wheat and whatever else it is that I'm doing. I was doing ginger yesterday, a whole bowl of ginger and then a whole bowl of garlic. I'm wondering if that has something to do with my headache. So we're just going to go through this and finish up this video, okay? Okay, so...
Boom. Number 4, story time. So the story time that I'm going to share today, I do have my notes here in front of me. But, yeah, let me just get one for the, what's it called? Thumbnail. Anyways, so yeah, for mine and ShaMay's story, we are going to tell the story about when me and her were at this party.
Okay, so I guess I'm telling a story here, all right? So, where do we go? All right, right here. We're going to start here because if I go and look for this post right now, chances are I won't find it because it's been deleted. I had to take the whole post, people, copy and paste where I found it, and then repost it. You can see that. Okay? You can see that that was done 9 hours ago. Right? And you can see... Alright? So here, this was her comment. Okay, her boyfriend didn't do this. I don't know how it came up by itself like this. But if you go down to here, where I came in, okay, maybe not. How did they do organ transfer from overdosed body? This is her post. She didn't overdose. I think she had an underlying illness. Okay? Then I came in. I answered. So let's read this, because this is, I don't think these will remain. I'd be surprised. Why this person, because I can see it now, why this person didn't continue with the thread, I don't know. Okay? All right. So this was the question by this person. This person came in 4 days ago, basically going into 5 now, and responded with her opinion. She didn't overdose. I think she had an underlying illness and died at home. I think the hospital made the decision to harvest her for organs, but they couldn't declare her dead or allow anyone to do an autopsy because they'd see her organs were missing. So they injected her with fentanyl, which is readily available in a hospital because it is an easy, non-violent way to mimic an accidental, sudden death, injecting her after her death at the hospital would keep fentanyl from reaching her organs because there isn't a blood nor oxygen flow. Fentanyl is only dangerous and deadly when a living person overdoses. It's the same stuff used with anesthesia in a hospital. Okay, so we know why I'm on Truth for Reality's video regarding ShaMay and reading comments, right? And this is not the only comment that I made through his comment sections last night, okay? There are other comments in there, but in this instance, I felt like I had to say something, so I said, interesting concept, but I was here when ShaMay was dead in the house, and just by the way Julian was acting and carrying on, he killed her. And yes, they take organs from anyone these days, even junkies. I speak from experience, people. I know what goes on out here. Okay? And then of course I continue on, right? If I was to look outside the box and consider your theory, so I'm trying to be open-minded here with her, people, right? You know, I'm trying to be fair, okay? You know, give her some, never thought of it from that angle, right? Honestly, I never really did. And if I did, it was, you know, it wasn't anything that I dwelled on. Okay? So if I was to look outside the box and consider your theory, I'd say, if anything, ShaMay was drugged with a paralyzing drug that made her look dead. Not sure what it is called. There's a name for a drug like that, okay? But that she wasn't dead. If that happened, it would only benefit the money launderers who sell organs on the black market, as in the fresher the better, right? Because you know they like to take out organs from living bodies, preferably before dead bodies. However, they will take them from dead bodies, and they don't take just organs. However, I seen ShaMay on the futon, laying dead on it. And when I approached her, bubbles were starting to pour out of her nose and mouth. And as I tried to do mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, the only response I got back was an exhale of the air I blew into her lungs and more bubbles. She was gray and limp and clearly looked and responded as being dead. However, in my dream in 2016, when I seen her dead, I only seen her head, face from the neck up, and she looked dead then too, the same color, but only it was in the hospital where there were any type of blanket. In other words, from the neck up was ShaMay's dead face, below was a blanket. This is nothing new, okay? I've done a video on that already, people. Okay? Then I wrote, when ShaMay died, she was sitting up and she urinated and defecated. But Julian moved her dead body into a laying down position. That's nothing new. I've been saying it since the beginning, people. Okay? I have videos on it. And left it there for 50 minutes before going to Tisha's bedroom to say ShaMay isn't responding. And then he stepped back from the doorway and let Tisha run by so she could go see what was wrong. In my dream, whatever happened to ShaMay went to Tisha's room, and she was going to be next. When that dream came, and that's what happened in my dream, that's when I woke up crying, people. I just didn't write that part. Okay, that was so traumatizing for me that I literally, it woke me up and I was crying. And sure enough, Julian went to Tisha's room after he killed ShaMay. Okay, this is not a storybook, people, all right? This is, we were here, okay? We know the timeline, okay? Then I wrote, seeing ShaMay dead from the neck up with a blanket below the neck just confirms to me ShaMay was always dead in the hospital, and from the moment I first seen her downstairs. Because when you get the naysayers coming in, you know, they try and distract you away from the truth. You know, the people that want to argue and disagree constantly without even thinking outside their own damn box. You know, oftentimes many of them have something to hide. I've got nothing to hide here, people, okay? Right? I'm doing, all right? I'm not running away from my problems, and I'm sure in the hell not trying to hide them. Okay? Then I wrote, now the only loose end I can think of is, because we've already got the timeline, all of that. That's all been brought down to a fine-tooth comb, okay? Is Julian didn't kill ShaMay by himself, as ShaMay's smokes were laced with medical fentanyl, okay, at Julian's mother's house. I don't just say that willy-nilly, people. I have pictures to place ShaMay at Julian's mother's house 2 days, almost 3 days before ShaMay died. ShaMay was sick for a couple of days off and on because of smoking smokes that had been laced with low-grade medical fentanyl. All right, and eventually it just caught up to her, and then from that point, I do tend to agree on Truth Reality's assessment, where he thinks that somebody came along after the fact of her being at the time of the death rattle due to the fentanyl. She was injected with the cocaine and this whatever else it was in, the cocaine and morphine, because the coroner's report through the blood sample said that there was cocaine and morphine in her system in combination to the low-grade medical fentanyl, but it was the fentanyl that killed her. Okay, all right. As it boils down to who had motive to kill ShaMay. All right, All right, ShaMay's been gone since April 11th of 2018. It's been almost 3 years, people, okay? There's been enough time to connect the dots, okay? ShaMay's smokes were laced, and somebody did that, and I don't think initially it was Julian, because if it was Julian, he would have been in those pictures when ShaMay was at his mother's house, taking the baby by because she wanted to see the baby. Okay, and then she went to African weddings and that type of gathering, right? As she was smoking smokes that were sprayed or whatever with medical fentanyl that would every now and then fuck her up and make her think that she was sick with some kind of flu that made her dizzy or sleepy or kind of nausea. It wasn't that, people. It was the fact that she was being slowly poisoned. Okay, no matter what this other individuals got to say in response to what I wrote, they weren't here. Okay, we were here. Then I said, P.S. Thanks for allowing me to express myself and to clarify that dream, as now I fully understand what it was telling me. Okay? And what I'm saying there, people, is she was under a blanket. So therefore, she's always was dead. She was always dead at the hospital. Because when you get people coming in trying to distract you away from what you know by bringing in other people's stories to confuse the issue as they mix up the posts, right? Why? So anyway, I get this, what is this? See? I get this notification that somehow, some way she responded to me. So I'm thinking it's on the same post. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem that way, because it's an independent post all by itself, not even connected to where it all started from in terms of the full conversation here, right? Then she comes in and she says, okay, some unknown entity. Her boyfriend didn't do this. How does she know this? Who is she? We don't even know who this individual is. Okay? The hospital did. No, she was dead. Even my family doctor said she was dead in the house before they took her to the hospital. The only thing is, my family doctor doesn't want to testify to that when it goes to fucking court, because he knows that there's some shady shit going on in the British Columbia, Canada healthcare system. So therefore, he told me to take him to fucking court when I wanted both ShaMay's and Sierra's medical files from the clinic. This is a clinical doctor who's been my family doctor for how long? 11 years? Right? Telling me after he looked over the files as they were being sent to ShaMay's file, being that he's the family doctor to the family from the hospital, he's reading. I go in, I tell him what happens. He says, oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. She was dead before they even took her to the hospital. But go get yourself a lawyer, because if you don't get yourself a lawyer, you're never going to get anywhere in fucking court out here, because this is Canada and it's completely corrupt. So, knowing that I can't get a lawyer, I still filed a lawsuit, people. And I wanted my daughter's records, whether for personal reasons, whether for my grandkids so they had something to hang on to, or whether for court. Didn't matter. They're my dead daughters, right? I should have right to that access to their medical files in light of everything. And what does that guy do after 11 years? Oh, no, take me to court. Okay. Right? This is what this person's advocating for? The hospital did. Right? I asked for Sierra's medical files just recently in October. I have to take it to court in order to get those medical files, because they're trying to protect third-party information. There's so much third-party information in Sierra's medical files because of all the bullshit that she went through the healthcare system not providing adequate healthcare to her, that they gotta put it under lock and key to protect others. Sierra's dead. There's nothing there to protect anymore. Anyway, labeling his death as just another gang-related killing means, well, he was shot down in front of a fucking gas station. Somebody scoped him out and shot him out, right? I don't know. I wasn't there, right? Right? Whether it was gang-related or what, I don't know. That's what the cops are saying. Don't get mad at Truth for Reality for relaying what is being reported on the fucking internet, okay? Means it won't get solved. Well, of course not. Not in British Columbia, Canada. It never does. Doesn't matter if you get shot in the head in your own fucking home, murdered in your home, or shot out in the fucking street. Nobody ever goes to jail out here. If you all think there aren't cover-ups and conspiracies that far exceed common street people, I urge you to rethink it. They lost momentum banning the boyfriend because it was bigger than him. Well, I don't know. You don't even think the boyfriend did it. And you got nothing to back it up. And then I wrote, the boyfriend, aka Julian, didn't murder ShaMay by himself, but he did murder her and stood right over her and watched her dying as she was struggling with the death rattle. In other words, he came to check up on her to make sure she would die. You can't say it any other way, people, okay? Right? You connect the dots, you look at it for what it fucking is, and clearly he knew what he was doing and he did it. And the cops condoned it and they covered it up. And then somebody took him out. And then the cops blamed it on gang violence. Not my fault. And then within 15 minutes, he moved her dead body into a laying down position so that ShaMay's sister wouldn't tap ShaMay on the shoulder too soon. Because if Tisha would have said, hey, ShaMay, you're snoring, go lay down, maybe Tisha could have saved her sister. But because he moved her body, there was no need for Tisha to say, hey, go lay down and rest. You're sitting up, you're falling asleep. Right? But you see, ShaMay left the clue. She urinated and she defecated before he moved the body. There's only a 15-minute window span there. Nothing you can say, nothing you can bring to the table can remove those facts. And then she responds, without an autopsy, it's hard for anyone to say she was murdered. I asked for an autopsy, people. They wouldn't give her one. I had to fight for it, and then when they said that they were going to give her one, they didn't fucking give her one. And even the cops told me themselves the only thing that they were going to do with their autopsy was to test the blood that she came in with initially before it turned to water. Okay, because let's not forget, ShaMay's blood turned to water within 7 to 8 hours after being transported dead in an ambulance to the hospital. A lot of women have underlying health issues. This is where she's trying to distract away from what I'm saying. Make it somebody else's story. Not ShaMay's story, but try and make it somebody else's story so that you don't listen to what I have to say. A lot of women have underlying health issues that go undiagnosed until something big happens. I'm not sure if she was on birth control, but a common cause for sudden death in some women are blood clots. And blood clots. I don't think he killed her. I don't think she was murdered. I do think medical professionals choose to harvest her body for organs. The amount of money to be made in the black market of organ donation surpasses what most understand, and it doesn't typically include street level people. There was a woman who died. This is where she's trying to make ShaMay's story into somebody else's story. There was a woman who died in her sleep in Florida, and they should not determine, and they could not determine her cause of death. After 4 months and another autopsy, it was discovered that she had a blood clot that burst in her intestines. The blood clot was caused by her birth control. The husband said she'd come home from work and said she was going to bed early. He reported hearing a weird noise he initially thought was the air conditioner until he turned it off and still heard it. He said he tried to wake his wife up, thought she was so tired she was snoring weird. He said he woke from his sleep realizing he didn't hear her snoring. When he tried to wake her, a weird smell came from her mouth and nose. She was pronounced dead when EMTs arrived. This case was featured on Dr. G Medical Examiner. Her heart disease is another common cause for sudden death in women. If impossible, it isn't impossible for the boyfriend to have a needle available, but it's definitely possible the hospital did along with the actual fentanyl. Julian was a drug dealer, okay? ShaMay wasn't the first person that had died around him. And then, for whatever reason, my comments got removed. They posted somewhere else. They didn't even go in the thread, people. And once I noticed that, that's where I put clearly YouTube staff is only interested in making money off their advertisements, being they removed several of my posts in this thread to keep people in the dark. Because for whatever reason, it wasn't just one thread. It broke off into two, whether because she came in and started a new post to separate it from the original post, and that's why I just came in and copied and pasted and added it in here, and by saying, okay, maybe not, because the further I went down, I found the original posts that we were making comments to up here. You can see I had to go all the way down, and then it comes in for whatever reason by itself. It's not even attached, right? But if you go up to the top, let's see what happens. Here, why don't we just refresh the page and go find it and see what happens. See if the post is even there.
This happened to my daughter.
Okay.
I live.
All right. We have to go all the way down. Now, I read all these. I did make some comments in there. I do that periodically, and I do appreciate people signing that petition. I do plan on doing an update after I get all put away with the food and the wheat and everything, people. Right? I have to find it. So, here, just hold on. I know it's almost to the bottom. All right. Assuming that it's still there. Yeah, there's this one. This one. Where's the original one? Are you watching this? Look at that. See, I told you. I'm being censored out, people. right? Why? But yet YouTube is putting their advertisements on this crap, calling it entertainment.
And since what's happened to my daughter,
All right. So is that YouTube, or is it is that YouTube doing that, people? We'll just go all the way down to the bottom. Is that because they, for whatever reason, it went to the very bottom? And they're not even opening up the post. This is why I don't like YouTube. Okay, there's the post. You can see, right? Her boyfriend didn't do this, but we already have it on camera with me responding. But now, oh wait, hold on. I see something. Okay, there we go. There. So far, the posts, I already read them to you. Okay, so far, the comments are up, but they put them way at the bottom of the page. And we know I had to copy and paste the original post from the time that we were talking to the time the post itself was broken into two parts to distract away from the subject, so that whoever's reading this stuff is left with the impression that ShaMay had a blood clot. Right? And that somehow she wasn't murdered just because that other person had to say so. When in fact that other person wasn't around, unless of course they're using a fake user account and just posing as a independent thinker. See, I don't see the original post now. It was further on down. I'm looking because it came under somebody else's. It came in under somebody else's username. This one right here. Oh boy. Anyway. This person. That was the original post. How did they organ transfer from overdosed body? And then this person this post was done 3 weeks ago, and then this person came in and tried to rewrite the narrative by importing her own idea as to what happened. Right? 4 days ago. And when I came in and responded, somehow posts got mixed up because I can't find the original poster to the original thread. And I know Truth Reality doesn't play games like that. Okay, YouTube, maybe I could see them doing that, but definitely not Truth for Reality. So, that's what's happening, people. Okay? Anything else here? That's what's happening. All by chance. That's why I gotta keep YouTube at kind of, I don't know. So I'm gonna end this video, upload it onto YouTube, and I guess it is what it is. What else can it be but, right, people? I mean, what can I do? If you're in my situation and you've got this shit going on, what would you do? Go buy more weed? think about getting some chickens next year. All right? Chickens like wheat, people.